Hey guys, welcome to the Art of Comics. I'm your host, Andre Salazar. Today, we're going to talk about Before Watchmen Part 2. Now, a week ago, I bought Before Watchmen. I got it in Amazon. It was a fluke because I had just watched the HBO show, and I was resistant to get this because I'm a huge fan of Alan Moore, and I thought, hey man, how dare they go back to the well? How dare they go and do the story that does not have Alan's blessing? How dare they? So I bought this damn thing. This is $125 retail. I think I got it for I want to say 60 or 70, something like that on Amazon. And, we got the lockdown right now here in California, so I'm like, I got some time. What the hell? I don't ever do this kind of big spend. And I don't have any book this thick. This is about 1,000 pages. I take that back. I do. I have some mangas that are bigger than this. But for a Western comic, this is the thickest one-volume book I've got. And I read this in a week. And I literally finished this book 10 minutes ago. So I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. I'm going to spoil it. I want to talk to you about Before Watchmen because I'm going to say this. Cut to the chase. This was actually damn good. I really liked it. I have not read 1,000 pages of comic in a week in a long time. Never done it. I haven't done it in a long time. So this really inspired me. I read this all day today. I read it all last Sunday. I read it throughout the week. I was really enjoying this. So I want to talk about it because I think it's worthy of the discussion. We got to talk about the creators. We got to talk about all the things that these guys bring to the table. DC pulled out all the stops. They brought in the heavy guns. They said, hey, this is no joke. We're not going to bring in the B team. We're bringing in the A team. And this collection has a crud ton of amazing artists and writers. Brian Azzarello is kind of, I would say, the major architect for a lot of this, and I don't know how they plan this out, so I'm speculating. But he is the writer for at least 2 or 3 of these trades that this compiles. But let me just give you a couple of names here: Brian Azzarello, Amanda Conner, Darwin Cook, amazing; J. Michael Straczynski, amazing; Lean Win, okay. Swamp Thing, hello. Artist, we're talking Lee Bermejo, Amanda Conner, Darwin Cook again, John Higgins, Adam Hughes. That's right, Adam Hughes, dude. We got him to actually do sequential comics, not just covers. He's doing the internals, the insides, interiors. It's amazing. S.G. Jones is great. Even Andy and Joe's dad, Kubert, are busting out on this. Ja Lee, I love Jay Lee, dude. Love Jay Lee. Not Ja Rule, Jay Lee. Rizzo, love Hunter Bullets. I was a big fan. Steve Rude, and as you know, one of my favorites of all time, freaking Bill Sienkiewicz. Okay? There's a bunch of colors. I don't even know who these dudes are, but they're amazing. Of course, I know Fulton Noto, who's great. I know Higgins, Brad Anderson. All these guys are great, too. This was really good, man. It breaks it down. What's nice is that it breaks it all down, not chronologically, but they organize this omnibus in a way in that it's not just, Minutemen 1 through 7, then Silk Spectre 1 through 7, Comedian 1 through 7. They break it down to all the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and it all kind of makes sense and it kind of works together. I love it. Huge fan of Darwin Cook. So the Darwin Cook stuff, bless his heart, rest in peace. He's passed away. But I love Parker. I love New Frontier, which we got to get on the docket here for this. And so I love this stuff. Just amazing. It's just so good, man. I just can't tell you enough. I could just sit here and we could spend an hour just going through the panels. So each of these, I should go back. Let me go back. I get so excited. So this omnibus collects a number of trades that are mini-series, okay? There's a mini-series of the Minutemen, Silk Spectre, Comedian, Night Owl, Ozymandias, Rorschach, Dollar Bill, I think that's just a one-step, Morlock, Dr. Manhattan, okay? So those are all these 6 to 7 issue trades. They put all these in together, okay? So the story, what's interesting about this is, man, I don't know if you should read this. If you've never read Watchmen, the question is, should you read this before you read Watchmen? I would say, I want to say yes. I don't know. I'm going to say no. Read Watchmen first, but I would say read this. This is good. This is very good. I liked it. And I'm a huge, huge Watchmen fan. So I would say read Watchmen and then read this. But if you wanted to, you could read this first. It doesn't spoil Watchmen. Not all this happens before Watchmen 2. There are some things that are happening at the same time as Watchmen. There are some flash forwards that are happening. So there are things that if you know Watchmen, this goes into Watchmen. This isn't just like the 10 years before Watchmen, what are they up to? Oh, no. It's integrated in the story. It really is a companion piece. And that's why I'm so impressed by it. It's not just, ancillary stories of, like I said, a couple years before the events of the first issue of Watchmen. It goes and weaves in and out of the history and tapestry of these characters and how they work, and I loved it. The Minutemen is great. A lot of it is just the art, the story of Darwin Cook, talking about Minutemen, talking about Captain Metropolis, how he builds the team of the Minutemen, how that all begins. We are also getting The Curse of the Crimson Corsair. This is great. This, of course, tags along with the Black Frigate, right, in that story. So this is just a great little, 2 pages, each of those episodes, each of those issues. Great. Silk Spectre story. This is Janie, Laurel, kind of getting out on her own. This is Laurel getting away from her mom, moving to San Francisco, and experiencing kind of adulthood for the first time. And of course, we see the mother and how the mother deals with how the mother throws manipulation and tantrums to try to get her way. This is a great little fun story too. Amanda Connor does great. Love this story. Art is wonderful. Big fan of this. The Comedian is another. This is one of the Azzarello ones. This is great. The art is S.G. Jones. I think it's wonderful because it really brings... And S.G. Jones is kind of like a Brian Hitch type of artist. Very grounded, very realistic, photo, using a lot of photo reference, that kind of stuff. It works great for this story with Comedian because he's the more real, gritty, modern age kind of character. And this is really... this one is good because this is very much the... conspiracy, comedian Edward Blake as a government agent. He has these strong connections with the Kennedys, both Jack and Bobby, and in the end, he kills Bobby. So, wow, I just flipped it. He kills Bobby freaking Kennedy, okay? It ends with that. He kills Bobby Kennedy. Edward Blake, this is going into some heavy conspiracy stuff. Marilyn Monroe getting axed. He kills Marilyn Monroe. This is really great stuff. Did I tell you it's spoiler? This is spoiler, dude. Okay. Great art. I really dig this story a lot. A lot of this one goes into Vietnam. So this is a lot of Edward Blake's Vietnam history and what turned him into the monster, right? Some would argue, of course, he already was a monster before that, but what got him into the clandestine government shadowy stuff. Night Owl is a great kind of origin story of Night Owl and Night Owl 2, and how they kind of connect as mentor-mentee, and how we get to learn about this girl that Hollis was in love with, which was I forgot her name. I'm going to remember here in a second. This is great too. I'm just going to keep saying it's great. Okay, Ozymandias. We got to talk about this because I'm a huge fan of Jali. And his design, he's very low backgrounds. We're not going to get a lot of backgrounds on him. but it's all about composition. Composition, figure design, these panels, his page compositions are all very similar. He's using these ovals a lot. A lot of it is 3, 4, 5 panels with ovals in the top or bottom or in the middle. This reminds me a lot of the Dark Tower art, kind of that he kind of took that side. A lot of shadow. I think he's not even using inks. I would say he's probably just digitally amping up his pencils. I could be totally wrong. But that's what it feels like. It feels like it's pencils that are just getting amped up, changing the levels. But not a lot of backgrounds, but not needed. Great figure work, great compositions. Again, remember I'm telling you about those circle, these kind of neat little panels. I really like that. I want to steal it, but I feel like you have to have a good reason to steal this, and I don't have a good reason to just put circles in my freaking book. But great figure work. Big fan of him since the Savage Namor days back in the early 90s, maybe even late 80s. I don't remember when that came out. I think it was like 91, 92. This story is interesting because this really goes into Ozymandias's plan of how he's going to create the squid and how he eventually, stops John, Dr. Manhattan. So this is cool. You really see how he becomes who he is. It is an origin story, but more than the origin, it really kind of goes into those last weeks before Watchmen issue 1. So it goes into the planning of the island, building his base in Antarctica, his plan with the squid monster, killing Edward Blake, poisoning Janie with the cancer, poisoning Moloch, all these just great machinations. So I really love that. And again, the colors, the art, can't go wrong. And then, we flip it around again. So we got some more of these. Minutemen. Minutemen really is getting this team together. And we see it from different perspectives. We see it a lot of times. You'll have scenes in here that are scenes directly from the Watchmen. Directly. So we'll see those maybe in a different angle. We're having the same dialogue. We're having the same stuff. So that is just really neat. Again, I can't tell you how much I really like this. This really was a great companion piece for it. And I love the art. I was really impressed. What else we got? The Silk Spectre. This is like 60s, Haight-Ashbury drugs with the little like almost becoming of the 70s, like disco era. She's dealing with this kind of they're kind of tuning in, dropping out type stuff. Comedian now, we're going to Nam, and he's in charge of this this squad, and of course he like massacres a village. Government ain't too happy about that. We got to deal with that business. Night Owl, again, this is now beginning. The Night Owl's really beginning the relationship with Night Owl 2 and Rorschach, how they kind of start working together. Here's the girl. We get introduced to her, Lady Phantom or whatever. I can't remember her name. The titty girl, and they become together. Night Owl and her become a little duo, which is really cool. Again, more of background that we know from the novel, just really kind of putting more meat on that. And we see some kind of religious subplot with Rorschach, which we kind of got again from Alan's story. Look at that great cover. Isn't that awesome? Really, really cool. Again, just great positioning, composition, and very minimal background, which works so well. Look at that. I mean, we could just sit here and look at these. Wonderful. I'd love to see the originals. I'd be interested to see how he did it, if it's penciled, what the digital changes were, those kind of things. Great colors too. I mean, the orange and the yellow and the purple are great. A lot of neat complementary stuff. Very graphic here. Really cool silhouettes. Again, there's like no backgrounds, dude. It's just like, but you don't need it. I feel like it works. It works. Rorschach, this is a cool one because this is all Bohejo. I don't know how to pronounce it. I should. I'm Latino. What is it? Bermejo. Bermejo. If it's Latin, it's Bermejo. If it's something else, it's Bermejo. I don't know. Bermejo. I'm gonna say Bermejo. Really cool, kind of painted. I just saw The Deuce on HBO, which is this kind of seedy world of the 70s in New York. And so this reminds me a lot of that. It's that seedy 70s New York, the porn industry, the drugs, all that kind of stuff. It's going into that. And he's working on a case, and we see some humanity with him too, with a girl at a diner that he kind of get a crush on, this girl here. And they're kind of friendly. Then we start, so we don't even get to Dr. Manhattan until 300 pages in. So a third of it, and then we finally start getting Dr. Manhattan. Did I mention Adam Hughes is drawing the interiors, not internals, interiors. Amazing. We never see this. I don't know what his page rate is, but he don't draw stuff like this. He don't do it. It's amazing. I love it. This is really going into his history. And again, we see these scenes from the original Watchmen, right? And this is kind of a fun story because it really is playing with time, just like the Watchmaker issue in the book, in the original. This is working with parallel dimensions, parallel possibilities. If I chose this versus I chose that, what happens? So we see those parallel choices and how those creates these pocket dimensions, these parallel dimensions, and how he is an observer. He's outside of those and can see those. Pretty neat. This is kind of this Miniman one is great because you also learn a lot more of Silhouette and what she goes through as this lesbian heroine, and her ultimate death, untimely that is, and that's a really kind of fun deal. Did I tell you this is good? Did I tell you the art is great? All these artists are wonderful. They just are perfectly picked. Bill Sienkiewicz is inking some of this with the Kubert guys. Loved it. Did I tell you Jolly is here? Okay. I can't say enough. I'm super impressed with this. I was hesitant, even though I spent $80 on it. I was hesitant. I really loved it, guys. I don't read stuff like this. I don't read 1,000 pages in a week. That just doesn't happen. But I was compelled, and I feel this really is a great companion piece to The Watchmen. Okay? This and this work together. I really feel that. I'm going by it. Damn it. Now, the question is, does this? I'm going to read this week. I'm going to see if this is full of junk. This is only part one. I think there's 2 parts. Or if this meets my expectation. But I'll tell you right now, this really was great. And this is, I can't even tell you how much I love this. And we are going to go through this. I'm just waiting because it's so damn good. I just feel inadequate. And this is next. So there you go. Before Watchmen, I'm going to say get it. It's actually free if you get the DC Universe subscription online. The DC Universe has got like all the TV shows and cartoons and stuff. I've been doing that. So for $7 in 1 month, you could just read this whole freaking thing, which actually that's what I would recommend. I bought it because I'm a goof. So there you go. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that jazz. Thanks, guys. Bye.